Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called The Quantum Touch Secret to Reversing Aging, Ways to Look and Feel Younger by Amplifying Your Life Force Energy to Reverse Entropy. My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm getting to the age where the topic of today is getting more and more relevant as I'm in my mid 50s now. Starting to notice different parts of the body, a little diminishment of some energy, some wear and tear, and starting to really think about like how do I really optimize myself for the coming decades? And we're going to get to explore how energy work can really mitigate some of the effects of aging, sometimes reverse. And here's some remarkable stories of what's been happening with quantum touch, which is a methodology that's been very well established, scientifically researched, and has been very popular on the Shift Network. So we are really excited to go deeper into this with the founder and energy medicine pioneer and best-selling author Richard Gordon, and Deborah Gair, who's a quantum touch ambassador, practitioner, instructor, and director of Awakening and Intuitive Development. So Richard and Deborah, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Stephen.
Great. Well, we're going to dive in and I think get some really fascinating insights. And I also want to let everybody know up front that we're going to have a brand new program with both of these faculty members called Reversing Aging with Quantum Touch that we'll share more about towards the end of the hour. So let's begin our journey here. I know that usually we do more of a personal backstory on the coming to the method, but in some ways it's more relevant today. Like you already developed quantum touch and you sort of backed into like, wait, something's going on with aging here. So it might be good to share the story of like how you started to recognize that the energy work, which was healing in certain levels of being, was also having this really remarkable effect on your body in terms of aging. So
Yeah, I'll take this one. It was about a year and a half ago. I was teaching a retreat in Cancun, and a lot of people came from around the world to come to this workshop. And I noticed something really fascinating. I hadn't seen a lot of these people in 8, 10, 15 years, and many of them looked about exactly the same as I had seen them before. And then I noticed that Deborah Gair, Henry Ferguel, others Jennifer Taylor, a lot of people who've been very deep into the quantum touch process weren't aging properly. And then I put it together and go, oh, if you're doing the work every day, it's slowing the aging process. So the very basic thought hit me. This is the fundamental idea of the whole thing. It's that aging is so simple, the experts can't see it. They think it's going to be a stem cell. They think it's going to be a treatment. They think it's going to be something that AI is going to figure out. But they missed the most obvious thing. Aging is fundamentally entropy. Entropy is going from order to disorder. If you cut your finger, that's entropy. You have disorder now. But when your finger heals, that's syntropy, of putting order back together. Now, the stem cells can get stronger. The toxins in the cells can reverse. The telomeres, which is the end of the DNA, actually can lengthen, and the DNA knows how to repair itself. The proteins that get misfolded know how to fold themselves. So essentially, all the people studying the aging are looking for a treatment to handle all the symptoms of age reversal, but the symptoms are entropy. Now, if you can get the theory and the concept of this is very simple and easy to understand. If you can get the energy high enough, strong enough, long enough, consistently enough, you can slow, stop, and potentially reverse aging. And Deborah Gair and I are testament to this. And I am astounded every single day because I'm working on myself all the time, and I see profound shifts in my own body. And Deborah and I will talk about what we're noticing and what Deborah's seen in other people and things. And that's the overview of where we're going with this.
Deborah, I'd love to hear, did you start noticing these anti-aging effects of quantum touch well before the year and a half ago conference?
Stephen, I remember once having a client a long time ago. I'm talking maybe 15 years ago or something. And actually, what happened was, and her hairdresser verified it, I was offering her the Life Force Energy, and her hair, which was grey, actually started to return and restore to its natural blonde colour. And at the time, I didn't think that much of it because she didn't come to have her hair changed, through quantum touch. She came for a completely different condition, but it was just a really interesting side effect. So that was the very first time I noticed it. And, it was great that she got relief from the condition that she actually had the session for. But I guess I just noticed over the years the many, many comments that I was receiving, like, you don't look your age at all. You look as if you're in your late 20s or early 30s or something like this. I was constantly receiving comments about, you don't have a single grey hair and things like this. So certainly I was starting to notice, but it was about a year and a half ago where there was that wow moment that Richard mentioned.
I think we should probably mention our age. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I'll actually be 54 in a couple of months.
And I will be 77 in a few months.
Wow. Very impressive, both of you. That those are your realities in terms of biological age. But and I
So
want to go back to Richard. I thought it was very interesting. If you keep the energy high enough, so basically the thesis here is that when you're doing energy work, you're actually creating a more ordered energy field, which then is that kind of would then counteracts the disorder.
exactly. I made some slides when I was in Mexico before I came back to the States. And what I did was I took saline solution and I put it on a couple slides. And then on one of the slides before it dried, I ran energy into it. I wasn't touching it. I had my hands like 6 inches away, but I'm running energy into that slide, but not the other one. The slides that I ran energy into had very well formed salt crystals, but the ones I didn't run energy into were very disformed, just mountainous, craggly things. And what it showed, it was creating more order. And
Hmm.
so that order is what the life force energy. Now, we call it life force energy. It's what the Chinese call qi and the Japanese call ki and the yogis call prana. And Dr. Beverly Rubik found 70 odd words that different cultures use for this energy. It's only our modern scientists who refuse to explore it. And they'll use names like woo woo or placebo or things like that because they refuse to see what's right in front of them.
Well, let's Deborah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about sort of when you're doing energy work and so you're just intending a healing, but have you noticed the same kind of like feeling of like things are coming into greater harmony or synergy or order as a result of the energy work you do?
For sure. And that's what people experience also. They tell me from having a quantum touch session that they've never felt so much harmony, so much peace, so much rest and rejuvenation within their own system. So I think that's the impact of the entropy, the order that's being brought into the cells.
Hmm. And so to some extent, it's like, it sounds like as we're age, it's not just a physical process, but we're also getting exposed to more and more disordered processes in the world, probably is what's happening, Richard.
Yeah, we are definitely doing that, but we also want to look at improving nutrition. We've got to work on the belief system, and we want to really focus on the energy. Now, for myself, I took photographs a little over a year ago, and my forearm had crepe skin on it. It was all crinkly and that. It's completely gone now. And I had hanging skin on my arm over here, and that's about 85% gone. Chat GPT tells me you can't grow elastin back, but I'm doing it. And I said how much was happening, and it suggested that I'm probably getting 6 or 8 years younger each year now. We don't know the limits. We don't know how far it's going to go. We haven't gone here yet. This is new territory, but it's so exciting to see these changes. Now, I'm not on testosterone, steroids, peptides. I'm on 0 medications. And this week I broke my record. I did 13 pull-ups. I did 17 chin-ups. I did 25 dips and 45 really good slow push-ups. And so I'm actually stronger than I was in my 20s or 30s. I have no joint pain. I can sprint. I have tremendous amount of energy, and it's an adventure. We're going to go, if you're interested in this workshop, we're going to go on an adventure. And the more you commit to being on this adventure and working with yourself, we're going to show you how to raise the energy so high. And by the way, once you've learned that, you're ready to take a quantum touch workshop, and then you're going to be able to do extraordinary work on other people. But this one's just for you. This workshop is about you slowing, potentially stopping, potentially reversing. We can't make guarantees because we don't know everything about this yet, but all the early indications are. There's a woman in her 50s, and she tells me that her breasts are lifting regularly. I said, you got to send me pictures. And she just laughs. I said, it's for science. It's for
Yeah.
science.
Yeah, you got to watch your scientific mind there. No, but that's really interesting. So question that comes up is that you were sort of saying that you were getting some of the effects on your skin there until
Yeah.
the last year and a half. So how much of this is you have to have a different set of protocols or specifically focus on areas of the body to bring more of the order and counteract some of the entropy versus like more just general kind of energy work on your whole system?
Deborah, you want to take it?
Yeah, we bring in a new way of running the energy, Stephen, a really super powerful way of running the energy. And it's actually something called the infinity vortex. And we'll be sharing that with the course participants. And it's really that is the key to the whole process. And, I mean, just in terms of my own health and fitness, I can definitely say that I'm fitter and healthier and looking younger now than I did in my 30s. I actually did 2 half marathons and a full marathon with absolutely no training, just using quantum touch. I mean, that's what can actually be achieved through something like this. It's just so energizing and revitalizing.
Share a little bit about that. So you were you specifically like trying to program your body to be able to do that, or just as a side result, you're like, oh, I'll just go feel like I'll go run a marathon here.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like an invitation that I received to do something really beneficial for certain charities that are close to my heart. And I thought, my initial thought was, well, I've never trained. There's no way I'll be able to do this. And then I thought, I wonder, if I use quantum touch and everything that we're talking about in this workshop, I wonder what might occur and what might be possible. And so that was 2 half marathons and a full marathon with zero physical training,
Hmm. And were you doing
just running
quantum
the
touch?
energy.
Were you doing quantum touch while you're running as
Yes,
well? So
while
that's
I
part
was
of your recharging your
actually,
batteries?
yes.
Fascinating. Richard,
Yeah.
you had something you were going to share next.
Yeah, how did we come up with the infinity vortex?
Ah,
Deborah and I each came up with the same thought on the same day.
same day.
And so we figured, I guess this is it. We both had the same insight. And just the energy work itself has been known to help athletes. I did a study with the men's basketball team at the University of California, Santa Cruz, where a 10-minute session reduced their pain by 50%. I worked on 100 sessions. The coach signed off on them all. So we know that this repairs damage. But what happens when you commit to moving that same energy through yourself? That's the key to this. And once you get good at moving the energy, you're going to discover that you can help other people too with it extraordinarily well.
How much does this depend on a sort of the dose or the amount? Is it 5 minutes a day, or is it escalate if you're doing more and more that you can kind of get more and more ordered and less aging?
I would,
So I would suggest, sorry, Richard, go
yeah,
on.
no, go ahead. I want to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, so I would suggest that anyone use it for at least 5 minutes a day, and then maybe once a week use it for longer, maybe 20, 30 minutes, something like that. So it's really, once you know how to apply it, you can actually have the idea of setting it and forgetting it, so to speak, so that you amplify it in your system, and then just once a day, and then maybe you can check in on it later, and then once a week do a longer session, and that's perfectly adequate for
Totally.
amazing impact. Folks have seen all kinds of things occur.
So I have a different protocol, and both of these are perfectly wonderful. When I'm going to bed at night, it often
Hmm.
takes me 10 or 15 minutes to go to sleep. Well,
There you go.
that's 10 or 15 minutes that I have to run energy. And I just go into the surrender mode of giving the energy to myself as deeply as I can. I'm doing the breathing, the body awareness exercises. That's how we do it, by the way. It's all breathing and body awareness and love and connection. And then I'd say about one out of every 4 or 5 nights, I'm doing it all night long and even while I'm dreaming. And I'm continuing the process. And you see, the joke is, and the truth is, both the joke and the truth, longevity takes a long time. And, and so here's the thing. What if I'm only getting a year younger every 2 months? What if I'm only getting 6 years younger a year? It's going to take me a long time before I get into my 40s again, right? But you just go with the process. And even if you're only able to stop aging, well, how good is that? And and Deborah and I couldn't believe what you guys are charging for this workshop. We thought it was going to be like 4 times more, 5 times more, but hey, it's a bargain, folks. Take advantage of it while you can, because it won't last.
Well,
Yeah.
We're going to be doing retreats and other things in the future, but this is a really good opportunity to get it now.
great. Well, we'll
Yeah.
get more into
One
the
li
details around the course and everything when you're a
uh
little further in. But I want to understand the method even more. So it's like, maybe share a little bit more like how you do a quantum touch session, or the
Yeah, yeah.
particular areas of your body that are really most important.
Okay. Well, you see, the basic quantum touch method is so simple and so easy. And that's where we begin. We begin with the basics, and then we show you how to do more advanced work, and then we're going to show you how to rev the energy up as never before. But the basic work can be summarized. Can you feel your finger? So hold up a finger. Can you feel the skin on your finger?
Mhm.
Can you feel any sensation in your finger at all? Can you feel the blood pulsing through
Mhm.
your finger? Can you feel how your fingernail sits on your finger? Can you feel under the fingernail? Do you feel any pulsing, vibrating, tingling? That's the life force energy. And maybe you can imagine you have a feather and you're stroking your finger with your imaginary feather. Can you feel where you're touching your finger? Now, with practice, some people say, no, I can't feel anything. That's okay. We help you build it up over time, and you get better and better at doing it over time. What we're going to show you is how to move those sensations in waves through your whole body, and how to link them with specific breathing techniques, and then how to connect to your love and beliefs and intention and everything else to open it up. And that's just level one. We're going to show you how to build the energy, how to move it through yourself, how to project the energy, and then how to amplify it beyond. So
Mm.
that's where it goes.
So when you're getting more aware of the sensations of the life force in your finger, that's so that you can then direct from there. So you kind of
Well, the
amplify the
idea
energy there.
is the finger is the starting place, just to say, oh, I know I can feel it. Then we're going to go to the toes. We're going to go every inch of the body. We're going to wake up the entire body. Just the process of waking up your whole body is a very small degree of what we're doing. Just being able to, like, if you do it vipassana meditation or something where you're waking up your body, that's a degree of it, a very small degree. That's probably 1 or 2% of where we're going to go with it, but that's actually an important step. Once you've learned to wake up your whole body, we're going to rev up the energy. And so what we're doing is we're revving the energy up in our body as never before, and allowing the telomeres to get longer, the stem cells to heal, the toxicity, the DNA to repair, the proteins to fold. We're allowing all that complexity with ultimate simplicity.
So one of the things I understand you're saying, you're recommending that people at least reconsider whether they really need to do a lot of the things people do to address signs of aging, whether that's, things like Botox or plastic surgeries or facials. So have you been seeing this, that people who have been on that pathway of sort of an artificial external intervention are able to get the same kind of results with just working with the energy?
Absolutely, Stephen. I was working with one lady, just distantly offering her the ageless energy, and it was just to the backs of her hands. And it was a remarkable difference in just 15 minutes. And she actually wrote that it was like better than the best, most expensive hand cream that she'd ever used. She noticed that the backs of her hands, this sort of the wrinkling and the age spots and the prominent veins and things like that had really reduced. Everything had tightened up and become more youthful in appearance. And another lady wrote to me saying it would save her a fortune on Botox. She'd been having regular Botox and she'd noticed her jawline and everything firming and tightening up there as well in just a distant session. And we're going to do live sessions within this class also. At workshop, we'll have live experientials where folks can experience a facelift, literally.
Another thing to go along with that is that, as I mentioned, the crepe skin on my arm disappeared and the hanging skin is almost completely gone. That means the elastin is coming back in every cell of my body. All the skin that has elastin is, so my wrinkles are disappearing and everything is changing. And I'm getting stronger by the week. I think about 6 weeks ago, I could only do 9 or 10 pull-ups. Now I'm up to 13. It's like, I'm not even trying. I just do it for a few minutes a day and that's it. I'm not even like on an exercise campaign. But the process is everything changes. It isn't just the skin. It isn't just the wrinkles. It isn't just this or that. We're working through every cell of the body. We're working through all the systems, glands, organs, processes, named and unnamed, because the body works with a spiritual intelligence to do the healing. The healer, we always say this in quantum touch, the definition of a healer is someone who was sick and got well. A great healer was very sick and got well quickly, because all healing is ultimately self-healing. So what are we teaching you? We're teaching you self-healing. We're going to send you energy, but your body's going to do the same healing inside itself. We'll teach you how to run the energy through yourself, and your body will do its healing to the greatest degree. Now, I'm going to also talk about improving your diet gradually, not to make fast changes. We're going to talk about changing your lifestyle, because these are helpful along the way. You can do it without it, just harder. If you help yourself along by doing the logical, physical things to support the energetic things, you'll make more progress. But I like to do things in a way that become relatively effortless. For example, if you just said, well, what can I do this week that would be good for me that I'll never have to go back on? Oh, I don't have to eat Oreos. I can do without them. Okay, that's a change I made this week forever. So you make one little change forever. And that's just a fantastic thing, whether you take the workshop or not, just to keep doing, because at the end of a year, you keep making these 1% changes, and now you're on a totally different trajectory in your life. And your microbiome doesn't like hard, fast changes either, because you rebel against them. So this is a much easier way of changing. So everything we're going to show you is going to be easy. We don't like to say, okay, now you have to discipline yourself. Like I do it before I go to sleep. I'll do it when I remember during the day. That's it. I can do it while I'm watching a Netflix, okay? You don't have to take any time out of your life to make this work, because it's not an intellectual process. And Deborah does it while she's running, okay? How crazy is that?
That's awesome. I had one question. So we focused a little bit on some of the external signs of aging. I'm wondering about the brain and some of the cognitive things that tend to accumulate with people. Have you noticed that this also works on some of the cognitive and sort of mental function areas too?
Absolutely, Stephen. I worked in a residential hospice for about 6 years, and there was a unit in there that was specifically for those residents who had Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, really impaired cognitive function. And working there with the quantum touch, it was really quite remarkable what we were seeing. You know, folks who previously weren't recognizing relatives would start to re-recognize folks who didn't have coordination of, you know, maybe even just something simple like the fork to the mouth, were able to coordinate their movements really well. So quantum touch can really have deep impact on the brain for sure.
That's amazing. Well, I know
Mm.
you two want to do a little demonstration here while we're all together, and take us on a little bit of a guided process. I think now would be a great time to do that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. That would be
Deborah,
wonderful.
go for it.
Yeah. So this is an experiential practice with the intention of enlivening the main center of the body brain that's actually involved in the rejuvenation process. And right there in the deep brain already is the fountain and wellspring of youth. So what the viewer, the listener will begin to experience is actually a reawakening of that center. So everyone who's viewing or listening in, you might like to get yourself just nice and comfortable. And you can either be in a sitting position or you can lay down. But the main thing is just that you're nice and relaxed. And I'm just going to lead you in that special process that I use every day to access the sacred youth-giving substances that reside within, all those youth-giving substances. So just take a breath, a nice, nourishing, sustaining breath. And you might like to have the idea that that breath is filling your entire body on the inhale. As it reaches the top of the head, it begins to trickle down the sides of the head and the neck and into the shoulders on the exhale, down into the arms and the open palms. And what we're going to do now together is we're just going to establish a rhythm of the breath. So we're just breathing in through the soles of the feet up to the top of the head on the inhale. And on the exhale, we're just coming down through the top of the head, down the sides of the neck, into the shoulders, the arms, and the hands there. So we're just establishing a beautiful, relaxing, yet rejuvenating rhythm. And we're just going to trust the process together. We're just going to place our attention and our intention very softly and gently on something called the medulla oblongata. So we're just breathing to a beautiful rhythm, feeling relaxation as you breathe in and out. And we know from quantum touch that wherever we place our attention and our intention, that energy goes there automatically. So we're just having the medulla oblongata, which is in the brainstem. It's actually located at the base of the cranium on the brainstem. And just trusting the process that the intelligence of the life force energy has already brought you to that location perfectly. Now, the medulla oblongata is very special. It's like a gateway. It's like a switch that receives and directs the flow of the life force energy, the prana. And so we're just placing our attention and our intention on that main central switch now, so that we can have the idea of receiving the life force energy through the vehicle of the breath. So just breathing to that beautiful regular rhythm now. So we're in touch and in tune with that medulla oblongata. And just loosely now having the idea of really meeting the medulla oblongata, feeling a sense of gratitude, feeling a sense of love for that medulla oblongata. Maybe we don't know what it does, but it's very important. So having a sense of gratitude that it's there and that it's receiving and directing the flow of the life force energy itself through the vehicle of our breath. And allow yourself to feel that brainstem as deeply as you possibly can. Really tap into the sensation, because that sensation is going to lead us in a sense of vibration into the pineal gland. Now, the pineal gland is a pine cone shape. It's about the size of a grain of rice. We don't have to be anatomists and physiologists to work out where it is. We just allow the intelligence of the life force to take us there. So just having the idea of being, of meeting the pineal gland. Now, the pineal gland is the third eye. It's located between the eyebrows, or at least that's where it's reflected. And so just allowing yourself to be with both the energies of the medulla oblongata and the pineal gland now, and really tapping into the sensation of those particular locations. Now, the pineal gland is very special also. It's a master gland, and it's responsible for something called soma. In the pineal gland are all the soma secretions, those feel-good factors, those naturally youthing, healthful giving substances. All the goodies are in there. All the serotonin, the melatonin, the DMT, the oxytocin, often called the love or the bliss molecule. And this is residing within you as this pot of nectar that you actually have access to at all times. So we're just allowing our attention and our intention to bring us deep into the deep brain. Just having that idea and trusting the process that we're there. And what we're actually doing now is stimulating the calcite crystals that will induce the substance release and the bioluminescence. Really have the idea of allowing the pineal gland now, this infinite inner oasis within you, to release the elixir of life, the soma. The soma is often described as the fountain of youth. It's full of special substances, inner nectar, ambrosia, and it provides us with that natural, renewing radiance. It uplifts us, the soma uplifts us. It's known to be a purifier. It's also known to be the source of enlightenment itself. The soma is the intelligent blueprint for syntropy. So let's now really drink deeply of the soma. The soma is encoded for youthfulness. So really partake of this beautiful possibility to steep and immerse your entire being in the soma, in the deep brain, through the medulla oblongata and the pineal gland. This is really the natural, free, holistic way to health, well-being, and organic radiance. Is completely holistic, and it's residing there within you at all times. And the deeper we go into this, the more profound and powerful are the substances. And so this particular exercise here of activating and releasing the youthing substances will fully prepare your circuitry, your internal circuitry in the deep brain for the course ahead. And just have the intention now also that it's going to continue to circulate in your system for the next few days.
Beautiful. What a delicious guided meditation. Richard, do you want to comment on what we just experienced there?
Yeah, you can play it back for yourself when you listen to this again and see if you can even let yourself go deeper. It's about surrendering, it's about allowing, it's about opening. And no one's perfect. And every time you do it, you can allow yourself to go a little deeper. And what I found is what Deborah was beginning to show you was the first stages of moving the awareness through your body and feeling that energy. There's no perfect. You get better with practice. I continually get better. I started doing the active movement of energy awareness with breath back in 1978. Am I a master? No. Am I better? A lot. But we continue to practice this, and it's something you should do every day of your life. So what we're going to be giving you is tools and techniques that are there for you all the time, that you can always use and lean back on, and know that it's gently improving your potential for self-healing and health, and potentially even reversing aging. But I'm so excited to see where this goes because it's still so new and we're seeing so many indications that it's working, but we don't know the answers yet. What happens 30 years from now? What happens 50 years from now? How far can we take this? I don't think there are limits, but here's what I do believe. I believe we could probably stick around for 500, 1,000, 2,000 years if we wanted, but there's a big problem. And the problem is, do you really want to be here? What if you were trapped in kindergarten forever and you had to listen to Barney the dinosaur and you were just stuck in the classroom? One and one is two. I love you. Okay, it's like, come on, I got to get out of here. And I think that's the challenge. So it isn't about slowing aging or maintaining youth and vitality. It's about lifting your passion levels, lifting your reason to want to be here. Because without the motivation, all the energy work is going to fade in time. Yeah, you can make yourself young, but what's the point, right? So what I'm finding personally, and this is just me, I am more passionate, enthusiastic, creative, productive than I can ever remember in my life. So I feel like I'm just getting started. I've got like 6 or 7 projects going simultaneously, and I can't wait to continue them because I'm on fire in that regard.
Well, you're a
And
great pace setter for this work to really inspire people by what's possible.
anyways, that's where I'm at. So
That's great. Well, let's talk more explicitly about your upcoming course because it's really such a powerful way to put this into practice and experience all the benefits. So, the course that they're going to be teaching is called Reversing Aging with Quantum Touch. Look and feel younger by amplifying your life force energy to reverse the effects of entropy. So, it's very much just exactly what we've been doing today, but taking it into the form of a daily and weekly practice. And you can find it at the URL youthfulquantumtouch.com, youthfulquantumtouch.com. It's a 7-week program. You don't have to have any background or experience in any way. They're going to teach you the foundations and the basics and build upon those. So it really is just going to be an opportunity to learn and apply from wherever you happen to be starting. So I'd love for each of you to share some of your intentions for what people are going to come away with from this course, and then we'll go through the modules and give a preview of what's coming in each.
The broad intention is we're going to show you how to run the energy so well, and you'll be so confident in it that it becomes something natural for you to do. Like, for instance, I'm just sitting here, and as soon as I think about running energy, it's moving all through me immediately. So it becomes like a second nature ability and skill that you will have from the course. And that is the primary skill that we use to reverse aging. But there's a lot of other factors that go along with it. But that's really where we're focusing.
Deborah, you want to share some of your intentions for the whole program?
Well, my intentions for the whole program, Stephen, would be that people feel better. They feel like they've got more energy than they've ever had in their life, that they feel so much self-love and they feel super happy in their own skin. You know, the skin is the largest organ of the body. And, you know, when you use these techniques, it just feels amazing.
Beautiful. So then module 1 is called Explore the Foundations of Quantum Touch so you can take the first step to heal yourself and reverse aging.
Yeah, that's it. And we'll start by taking a selfie. Everyone will take a selfie, and we'll all be keeping a journal as well to log everything that happens over the entire 7 weeks. And so, you know, the very first module, Stephen, folks will learn an invaluable skill. They'll learn how to actually channelize the life force energy. They'll take their very first quantum touch breath, you know, and it's something that literally I've been working with Quantum Touch since 2002, so it's 23 years. It changed my entire life just learning how to run the energy. It's absolutely remarkable. So that will be in the first module. And actually, even if someone has taken a level 1 Quantum Touch class, Richard and I are going to be sharing brand new upgrades to the level 1 material. So, you know, there's something completely new in the class also in module 1.
You want to add anything, Richard, or move on to module 2?
No, I think that's a fantastic description.
Great. Module 2 is called Amplify the Life Force to become a conduit of health, healing, and anti-aging.
That's right. What we'll be doing is concentrating on, you know, having folks run the energy to its utmost efficacy, really bringing as much energy in as possible to amplify the flow so that they can be super capacious with the energy. That's module 2.
Module 3, the amplified application of the life force for structural alignment of the body.
Yeah, that's super exciting. What we're actually going to do is do a live demonstration of structural realignment to show folks what's actually possible with quantum touch. We can actually see bones and structure moving. So that's going to be a really remarkable session where folks will have their eyes open that they have this capacity in themselves for self-healing.
Module 4, live experiential practice of quantum touch to feel the anti-aging process happening in real time.
Yeah, module 4, we're going to be bringing everything together from the first 3 modules. And so folks will then get an experience of confidence, how they themselves can actually confidently run the energy, because this is a very experiential workshop. You know, it's not just going to be, you know, teaching material. They're actually going to be running the energy themselves, experiencing it for themselves, and feeling super confident that they can actually run the energy effectively.
Module 5, slow aging and experience visible anti-aging process with the power of syntropy.
Yeah, that's where moving on with all that confidence and all the, you know, the amazing skills from the previous modules, we're going to introduce the anti-aging process. So that's where they're really going to harness the benefits of that and start running with the syntropy.
Module 6, the infinity vortex technique of running energy to
Yeah.
feel more energized and empowered.
Yeah. Module 6 is where we introduce the infinity vortex, which is the single most amazing way to really enhance the anti-aging process.
And then finally, module 7, practice an energetic facelift for smoother, firmer, and more youthful skin.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely incredible, Stephen. We're going to introduce the wrinkle release technique in that particular module. So we'll be using the wrinkle release technique and the infinity vortex in a live session where folks will be giving and receiving a facial, a facelift, and they can take their selfie afterwards and compare before and after.
Hmm,
So it'll be amazing.
what a great program. And Richard, anything
Yeah.
you want to add to that overview?
Um, you've got the bigger picture, but we're going to take the selfie on day one. We're not going to take
Yeah.
the first selfie comes when you first arrive. And then the last selfie will be at the end of the workshop. And then you can compare the two. Make sure you have the same lighting and setup so you can really compare apples to apples. And you're all going to be shiny apples by the end of this.
Wonderful. What a great program. And I'm sure it's going to be super fun as well as empowering. So again, the whole program is laid out in detail at youthfulquantumtouch.com, youthfulquantumtouch.com. So if you choose to join this course, you'll get the 7 90-minute live sessions with Richard and Deborah, which is also a time to ask your questions live. You'll have recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts that are really helpful to be able to go back and study techniques again, or really make sure that you've got something deep in your bones. There's also weekly exercises and practices for home. There's a Facebook community to support you and deepen your experience. And on the page, there's a number of extra bonuses that have each been added to enhance your journey. There's excerpts from Richard's book called The Best from the Power to Heal. You want to share a little bit about those special excerpts from your book?
Um, it's it really gets people understanding the context and the value of the work. It gets people inspired to want to learn, and it's how the whole process began. And it's showing the kinds of miracles that we see. Because I have this philosophy in writing that the first part of a book should get you so excited to want to read the rest of the book that you're actually going to do it. Because if you pick up a book and you're not motivated, you never finish it. But when you realize how extraordinary this work is, and that's what it's going to show you, it's going to show you what's possible. And that's why we've had uh, people in 50 countries become certified quantum touch practitioners, because this work is amazing. And when you see that and experience it for yourself, you'll really understand why it's so important.
So that's just one extra bonus. There's a second bonus. It's a digital course companion guide called Reverse Aging with Quantum Touch. And want to share about that?
Yeah, that's like a sort of a ready reckoner guide. It's like a little reminder that you can refer to regularly throughout your day. It's sort of designed to be printed out and kept handy, where you can remind yourself of everything in the course material, where you can go through and say, oh, did I remember this? Did I remember that? And oh, I could apply this and apply that. So it's something that it will really keep you on track throughout the course and afterwards.
Great. That's a great extra bonus right there. And then there's one special bonus you get if you sign up by midnight tonight. This is a live video teaching with Richard and Deborah called The Incredible Gift of Youthing. Want to share more about that special live video teaching that's the bonus if folks sign up by midnight tonight?
Yeah, that's where everyone gets a free session from both Richard and myself, Stephen, specifically targeted towards reversing aging.
Oh, great. So it's a full download transmission.
Yes.
Great. Well, that's a great extra reason to sign up right away. So it's truly going to be a groundbreaking program, fascinating new information, and huge potential benefits. So we've kept the investment for this program, as Richard mentioned, very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start May 15th and run Thursdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. So there's some great testimonials on the page about Richard and Deborah's previous courses at Shift. The wonderful, warm, easy to understand, love and heart connection. Pain is reduced, scars heal faster, spasms relax. So many great testimonials on the page from folks who have really experienced the benefit of quantum touch. And this is going to be a very unique and really powerful application of quantum touch to aging. So you are really in good hands, and you're going to be right at the forefront of how energy medicine can help transform our lives. So again, it's all at youthfulquantumtouch.com, youthfulquantumtouch.com. So you two, your passion for this is really infectious, and your stories are just mind-blowing, frankly. And I'd love to anything that's still on your heart that either of you want to share with folks who are considering doing the full reversing aging with quantum touch program.
I would say that everybody wants this. Not everybody will admit it, but this is something, from Ponce de Leon 513 years ago, whatever it was, we've all been searching for how do we not feel like victims? How do we empower ourselves to be able to do this one thing, to have some degree of choice and control on the aging process? And now we're offering it. And it's so ridiculously easy that I just laugh about it. It's so simple and it's so easy, but we're going to give you enough time to practice to feel confident and really good at this. And then we can't wait to see the results that come.
Yeah, I mean, I just say do it. I mean, don't think about it. Just the sooner you take a class on reversing aging, the better, because none of us are getting any younger unless we're specifically using the infinity vortex.
Well, I guess some of us are getting younger. It seems like the two of you are. So
Seems like it.
yeah, so
Yeah.
really remarkable stories, remarkable work, and thanks for really sharing this leading edge of your own discoveries with us. So it's been a really fun time to be with you here today, and really eye-opening of what's possible. So really excited that people have the chance to go deeper in your brand new course. And again, it's all at youthfulquantumtouch.com, and the title is Reversing Aging with Quantum Touch. Look and feel younger by amplifying your life force energy to reverse the effects of entropy. So thank you so much.